Reese Williams. I am a senior here at Bishop Kenny. Been here all 4 years.
Hi, my name is Kayle Lee. I am a senior here at Bishop Kenny.
My name is Emma Lawrence, and I'm a senior at Bishop Kenny. After I finish high school, I'm going to the University of Florida to study biomedical engineering.
I'm going to attend University of North Florida to pursue mechanical engineering.
I will be attending Ithaca College in New York to continue my gymnastics career, and I will be majoring in pre-health professions.
Growing up, I had a really good family. We'd always go to church on Sunday. We made means well just to put me into a private school. It was a little tight, but it was just enough. God provided us with enough, thankfully. So my dad's just always been like a really good leader of our faith in our home. He's always been like, hey, we need to go to church today. Like, we need to go, come on. It made me view it over years as like, I'm just doing it to make my family not mad at me. I wasn't doing it out of a love for the faith. Eventually I started kind of just doing the motions. I wasn't really praying. I wasn't saying what I meant. I was just saying what the prayers were saying. I didn't really mean it. It was just words. I was truly just going through the motions. And like Father Clay one time said that a fish that's dead just goes with the current. So I truly think my faith life was just going with the current. I was starting to idolize false idols. I was starting to do things that my friends would say is cool, but it really wasn't cool. And it was just not the right thing to do, although it was cool. And they would say it was cool. It really wasn't. And I was truly just going with the motion of the crowd that was leading me to a culture of death. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was slowly starting to change me into a worse person. I would get angry all the time at just stupid stuff. I would get mad at my parents when they were just really trying to care for me. Freshman year was when it was really getting bad because I was just trying to fit in at high school because I didn't really have a lot of friends, because it was just everyone's coming from a new school. I maybe had like 4 people I knew from my middle school. God sent me a trial. I'll get into it another time, but he sent me a trial that really just like broke me. Like, it made me question if he was really there, if he loved me. Why would he allow this to happen if he loved me? Like, just why? Why would he let such a bad thing happen to me when I said I would practice, I would go to church, I would pray? Truly, that was the best thing that could have happened to me, because it made me realize that my life as a Catholic wasn't being lived to what it needed to be lived.
During my freshman and sophomore years, I had like a really hard time with friendships. I like had some friends, but they weren't really like the best friends for me. And I had a hard time like finding the right people to surround myself with who were like me, but also brought me closer to God and tried to make me better. My anxiety was really bad at that time, and I started like struggling more with like school, and I just like didn't really find a lot of joy in my life. I went on a mission trip in Florida, and it really like brought me back to God and really like helped me center my life around him. And I started making more friends that were the people like I wanted to become, and they were people that I wanted to become close with because I could see God in them, and I knew that they would bring me closer to God.
2023 was a specifically hard year for me. Before the year started, I had already had a history of anxiety and depression. And then in January of 2023, I experienced my first heartbreak. And then on May 1st, a coach that I really relied on and trusted in a lot up and left with no goodbye, which was really hard for me considering he was the one that got me started, like that ignited my dream to do college gymnastics. And when he left, he kind of took my hope and my trust in myself away. I found myself trying to kind of push that sadness down and distract myself. And I found myself in a situation where I was surrounded by people that led me extremely far away from Christ. And I was doing things that I knew wasn't right, but I didn't care because I wanted to find the same love that I had from my coach again, and the only way I could know how to do that is to surround myself with these people and participate in the activities they were doing. I just felt like this hole in my heart had grown bigger, and then I went to the Rise retreat in the fall, and this was the first time I had ever been on any sort of religious retreat, and I had gone for all the wrong reasons. I wanted to get away from school. I wanted a break from reality. I kind of wanted time to stop. And then I went to the Rise retreat, and there was a moment during adoration where I felt peace. Like, it felt like the weight on my heart had kind of lifted up. And in that moment, I realized that all the love and trust that I had been looking for in the relationships and the friendships and the habits that I had developed, they didn't compare to the love of Christ and that I felt in that moment.
Just the trial that he sent me brought me down to my core, and it made me just try and find answers in them. And throughout freshman year, after the trial happened, I started coming into this chapel actually, just asking God, like, why did you let this happen? Like, how can I figure out how to get out of this? What should I do? And I started praying to Jesus a lot, and he just gave me the answer, and it was truly just God. Offering up all my trials, all my sins, all like the nights I just spent like questioning him, all the sad nights, all the angry moments, just offering it up to him and asking for guidance and help. And it was like amazing how quickly it worked. By the end of freshman year, it was just, I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad in what happened. It was just me trusting in God, praying to him, loving him, and him loving me back and really just rewarding me.
So after I went on that mission trip, I tried to make God more of a priority in my life. I started going back to youth group, going to Mass in the mornings before school, and just like overall praying more, which I think really helps me grow closer to God. Since then, I've definitely noticed a lot of fruits in my life, many more friendships that have come through that, and not only others bringing Christ to me, but me being able to be that vessel and bring Christ to other people. This past year, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, which was a really hard challenge for me and my family to overcome. Because I had made those connections and known those people and known Jesus, it was a lot easier for me to overcome than it could have been in any other circumstance. I had those people there for me during the really challenging times, and it's important to realize that God gives you these trials, and He doesn't do it to make you miserable, and He doesn't do it to try to show you that He's not there. He does it so that you can find Him during those challenging times. And it's important to seek Him out during those challenges and know that He's always there for you, whether the times are good or bad.
And after the Rise retreat, I decided that if I had spent my whole life looking for a love that I found through Christ, who had always been there, that I wasn't going to let it go. So when I came back from the Rise retreat, I told myself that I was going to make a change in my life. I started going to Mass seriously and not just being in the church, but actually listening to the homily and recognizing what the Eucharist does for my mind, body, and soul. And I made new friends through that, and now I have friends that will never let me go to church alone or never let me go to adoration alone, and they're not afraid to have those hard religious talks with me, which I think is super important, to be able to openly talk freely about your faith. Even when I do struggle with anxiety and depression from time to time, I've found that it's not only easier for me to get out of those rough patches, but easier for me to ask for help and reach out to those new friendships I had, and they now point me towards Christ, which is the easiest and most reliable way that I have been able to heal.
I just always want to tell people that Jesus is here for you and He's the answer. Like any issues that you have, anything that you're struggling with, it could be as small as a homework assignment, it could be as big as you not knowing where to go to college or not knowing what you want to do. The answer is always going to be Jesus. It's going to be your faith. It's going to be the Catholic faith, because it truly is the answer. You could, just anything that could happen to you, I always just try and tell people, pray about it, I'll pray for you. And I try and bring people to Mass. They have Mass here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I try to go. I go all the time now. It's not just like a chore. I view it as like, if I don't go, I'm upset with myself because I really want it. So
I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who bring you closer to God. It can be really easy in high school to just want to make as many friends as you can and just want to like get to know a lot of different people, which is really great in a lot of aspects. But at the same time, it's really important to find those close friends who are going to lead you to Jesus. And it's really easy to find people to take you off of that path and to try to fill their time with other things. But in the end, like the people who go to Mass with you and the people who will pray with you, those are the people that are going to bring you closer to God, which really should be your main goal.
A really important part of following Jesus is recognizing that it's going to be hard and that your life is going to change. It might change in ways that you don't want it to change, whether that's having to let go of certain habits or having to let go of certain people. that it's not an easy journey to go on, but it will get easy and you'll realize one day that it will be worth
I'd
it.
say following the faith is not going to be easy. There's going to be times that God sends you trials, and there's going to be times that bad things happen and it's not from God, but He uses those trials to make you realize how much more you need Him in your life. Like, He could take away your friends, He could take away family, He could take away your future, and truly just bring you down and make you question, why is this happening? It's because He's giving you an opportunity to trust Him more. So throughout the 4 years that any freshmen have coming in, any juniors have the last year that they have, God is going to send you trials, not only in high school, in your entire life. I want to remind you to stay with Him. Even though it's going to be tough, there's going to be nights that you're going to just question and scream and just be like, why is this happening to me? You need to stay with Him because He's going to reward you tenfold.